everybody, this is Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching another episode of the amazing scrapwood guitar. Chris is actually at the undisclosed location doing the paint work on that, and I thought I would get started on the neck. So I have drilled for some inlay, and I'm going to be putting 1/4 inch dots on the fretboard. Now, normally I don't do that, but I wanted to do that on this one because it just seemed like the right idea. I don't know why. So I've drilled some 1/4 inch holes already. You already saw me doing that. And for inlay, I'm going to use this 1/4 inch dowel. Okay guys, this is the downest and dirtiest inlay that I could think of. It's going to look pretty cool too. So like I said, I've got my 1/4 inch holes drilled here, and I'm going to be using this dowel material. Normally when we do wood inlay, we make our own inlay with the 1/4 inch plug cutter, but this is unbelievably fast, and I'm going to show you guys just how unbelievably fast it is. Since we're putting wood inlay in, we can use wood glue. I like to use wood inlay, especially if I'm doing inlay on the side here, because when the radius goes on, it grinds off more on the sides than it does on the in the center. So it actually works out pretty cool to have the inlay be taller inside the fretboard. So I made these guys. Actually, I went almost all the way through the fretboard. And what's going to happen is when we do the radius on this, it will sort of automatically clean all this cootie off of here. I don't know if the camera is shaking when I pound on it with a hammer or not. Probably. I got some glue here and a little piece of MDF. You want to be careful, because once this saw gives way, it's going to go, screaming towards where your fingers are. So use caution. Never put your finger in front of the tool path, right? Right. Of course, I'm actually putting my finger in the path of the tool. Really more my thumb than my finger, but you get the idea. One of the things that we've done in the past, guys, is we've done, I know we've done a video on how to use wood inlay in the past, and I was adamant that you should line up the grain. The nice thing about using end grain is you don't really have to worry about lining it up, because it's the end. I mean, there is a path or a pattern that it has, but it's not as big of a deal as if you are using, you know what I'm saying? Man, you got to remember to clean off the saw too, or else you get glue in your teeth. And that's worse than having popcorn in your teeth, let me tell you. Ha ha, so funny. I like these pull saws a lot. I hope you guys are using pull saws too, because they work really, really well. All right, as you can see, there's quite a bit of gype and muck and gook all over the fretboard and dried glue and stuff like that. But when we radius this, all of this is going to look like $100 million. So let's let the glue set up, and we'll come back here in a second and we'll radius it, and it'll be boss. All right, the glue is mostly dry, or all the way dry, on our inlay, and like it's inlay. You don't have to do the little thing, air quote inlay, because it's inlaid into the wood. And now we're going to attach it to our jig and put the radius on the fretboard. So we have the standard Grizzly radius rig here, but we've made a few modifications, and there's a video of what we had done to the existing unit floating around out there. It's easy to find. People often ask me, can I make them a sled exactly like ours? And the answer, unfortunately, is no, because I am not a machinist. And the guy who did this for us was a machinist. So, but having said that, it's not like it's the trickiest thing in the world, guys, to find someone with a few machine tools and have them make you something like this. Man, I like the squeezy clamp for holding double stack tape to the rig. So this is basically just a simplified version of what Grizzly sends you, and maybe even a little more ruggedized version. It's a pretty straightforward operation, and anyone with a mill could certainly pull this off. So this pendulum thing works pretty awesome. I like to kind of sneak up on it these days. I used to have it set up where it would just work perfect until it didn't work perfect. And it's not the tool's fault, it was really my fault. I was trying to, force it to do something that maybe it wasn't intended to do. And it just seems like it's just a little easier to just kind of sneak up on it. So that's what we do now. So the cool part about this machine is, if you just take your time and go slow, it's perfect every time. Okay, fretboard radius and the thing that I'm about to do can be really tricky jobs if you don't have specific tools to help you with them. The thing that I'm going to do next is put the little swoop on the headstock. And to do that, I'm going to use the bandsaw and the old man machine. So my headstock needs to be just over a ½ inch when it's all said and done. So that means I need to cut about that much off the top, because I don't want to sand all this. See, that's a lot of material. So I am going to I'm going to use my bandsaw. I don't know if you can see it there, but see, that's a lot of material, and so I'm going to use my bandsaw to take off the lion's share of that. And I'm only going to go to about right here with the blade, because then I need to start establishing the swoop. Swoop-a-doop, swoop-a-doop-a-doop. So for those of you who don't know, the old man machine is called the old man machine because we kind of think it was built by an old man. It is it's essentially a homemade thickness sander or drum sander, and it's 12 inches wide. I got it at an estate sale, and that's why I kind of think maybe the guy who built it isn't with us anymore, maybe an older guy. Back in the 60s, you could find blueprints and plans to build these in Popular Mechanics, and that's probably where this guy came from. So this tool is not unlike the stuff that we did everything with when I was at Roberto Venn back in the 80s, and it makes this job so much simpler. I'm not going to say you can't do it without an old man machine, but you shouldn't. How about that? So let's go ahead and smoothen this part. So the neat thing about a homemade drum sander is you can push the piece in and pull it out. There's no grabber arms or a conveyor belt that pulls it through one direction. And this is what you get. That's the result. So I don't know who built the old man machine, but I sure do appreciate all the work that you did, and it's really a nice one. So thank you to whoever put the old man machine together back in the day. We couldn't do what we do here at Texas Toast without it. Okay guys, what I just did was drill some 3/32 holes for the side dots, and I'm going to put the side dot material in and snip it off. And we'll flow some acetone in there just like we do with binding, and the side dots will be done. Dots are done, man. You know what movie that's from, Chris?
go with Don't Tell Mom the Guitar Builder is Dead.
That's right. Don't tell Mom the guitar builder is dead. We used to use super glue for this, and we decided that it made a bigger mess than it was worth. All right. Done deal. All right, so we put in the face dots and we've radiused the board. We put the swoopy on the headstock, and we've installed the side dots, and they're acetoning in right now. And everything is going to be wonderful. In the next video, we're going to fret this neck and shape this neck. And the video after that, we're going to have Mike Learn here doing the Warbird paint job on the body. And then all that's left to do is put this bad dude together. So, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, guys. If you appreciate content like this, you might want to go over to our Patreon page and consider becoming a member. Because even $1 a month goes a long way to helping us bring you cool stuff like this. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I put this little end treatment on the fretboard. I put a rakish angle on there. If you can't do Patreon, we totally understand. Just make sure to share this video as many places as you can think of to help us grow the channel that way, because that totally helps us out a bunch. So until next time, this is Matt at Texas Toast reminding you that if you're so smart, build it yourself. That's what I do. Thanks for watching, everybody. Here's a quick peek at what the body looks like after one round of sealer. I have to sand it way back and probably spray again because this stuff soaks it up. The end grain is usually pretty bad too.